Hello, and let's do another upcycle project. And for this I chose this use again candle container, and I decided to decoupage it. So firstly I had this rice paper and I played a little bit with paints around it, so I just made sure it somehow looks the right way for me. Then I tear it up in few places for better placement on my glass container, or it could be a vase, for example. Then I used my glitter decoupage glue and I applied it onto the container itself before placing my rice paper on it. And here as well, making sure there is not much of an excess of the glue, because it will dry out white, not clear, and that's not something we go for. So then I place my rice paper onto the container and I glue it with more decoupage glue, and I use the same glue, so it's technically, it doesn't matter. And as I saw a wrinkle was forming, I just cut a little bit deeper inside the rice paper itself, so I can avoid any wrinkles of my rice paper. Then I continued gluing it all, and I also decided I wanna put something on the bottom of my container, and this is also a reverse decoupage, so I applied the rice paper so it could be seen from inside when I'm looking at my design, and I let it everything of course dry. And then, since I decided only to do a half of my container, I put a golden trim around my rice paper, just so it be like a nice elegant touch of it. And then I let it dry. After everything was dry, I painted the sides where I put the rice paper on with white paint, and I applied 2 layers of the paint and let it dry, of course, between each layer. If you like this kind of videos, please do subscribe to my channel. Please do give me a nice comment or thumbs up, and maybe tell me how you like this project so far. So now on the other side, of course, of my glass container, on the side where the paint is, I of course glue some more rice paper with the same design. Technically this rice paper was for a 3D decoupage, but I liked it so much this way, so I decided I'm gonna use it for this project. Of course, maybe next time when I got this kind of rice paper, I will do this 3D decoupage with it. Okay, so everything was glued, of course, with classic decoupage glue, and I let it dry before continue working on it. And the next step was, of course, painting, blending. So I painted everything around my images with kind of beige paint, and for a little bit of touch here and there, then I applied the purple, the green, and such. I like to do my shadings this way. Of course, there are many other ways, but I like to use my fingers. But of course, if you like to do it only with your brush, that's okay too. And here I decided to paint some more leaves because I felt like something is missing. So I painted, of course, few leaves. So there is no good or wrong doing this. If you think something is missing at your design, just paint it whatever you want. I am not a painter, so I do my best, of course, doing this. I try to blend as best then as I can. And when this was done, I did some more, of course, shading of my rice paper, and then I let everything dry. And when it was dry, it was time to apply some dots on my design, and for this I use small brush, water and some paint. And then again I let everything dry before I continue working on this. So decoupage is mostly, of course, also drying time, so waiting for your project to dry. Okay, so next step was applying different kinds of dots, different colors. So I use, I think, 3 colors on this. And then I did a little bit trim on the top of my glass container with green paint before I continued working on my other side of my container. So for this I used a sponge dabber, of course, and then I let it dry, and then I used or sealed everything with pouring glaze. I applied 3 or 4 layers because I wanted to be as shiny as my front, the glass one. Of course, let it dry between each layer, and then I have this metallic wire, and so I measured it so it will fit on my container. I cut it out and then I glued it on. It's like metallic wire tape, metallic decorative wire. I am not sure what it is called, so I glued it on each side of my container. This is very easy to apply, and I will try to put the link where I got it below. I'm hoping they still got it because I only saw it there. And here it is all finished. I also put a lid on top of with my handmade bird and everything, so it can be used like a container for something, but of course you can take the lid off and you can use it as a flower vase or something like that. If you like this video, please do tell me about it. Until next time, bye.